So, in what is hopefully going to be the first of a new series here on 81632-bit, today I'm going to compare the ports on the Sega systems of Mortal Kombat 2. Now, Mortal Kombat 2 is an incredibly powerful piece of arcade hardware for the time, and ultimately the home conversions were somewhat lesser than the original arcade versions. However, how did this game fare when placed onto the two main Sega formats of the time, the Mega Drive or Genesis for our American friends, and the 8-bit Sega Master System? Now, do bear in mind here that at the time, 93-94, the Sega Master System still had quite a good market in Europe. Indeed, it was the low-cost machine for people, being able to be purchased for around £50 to £60, with software plentiful and cheap. But could Sega's 8-bit system really do Mortal Kombat 2 justice? And just how does it stack up when you compare it to its 16-bit big brother? Well, without further ado, let's take a look. So, first up we have the 8-bit version here for the Master System. As you can see, I'm running this under emulation because I don't actually own a cartridge of this, and even if I did, at the moment most of my games are in storage. So, as you can see, it was published by Acclaim and developed by Probe, masters of the conversion from platform to platform at the time. Now, as you can see, intro looks pretty decent, yeah. It's missing most of the arcade intro, but you at least get the title screen, and into the game we go. Got a choice of 8 of the characters there, and you do get the full scrolly, this is who you're going to be fighting mountain thing. So, into the game, and to be fair, it doesn't look too bad. Yes, it's a bit slow and jerky, yes, the animation isn't the smoothest, but bear in mind, this was an, at the time, high-end arcade machine being converted to run on a Z80 based piece of hardware from the mid to late 80s. You know, this came out in 1993-94, and by this point the Master System hardware was sort of 8-9 years old. You know, it shouldn't have been doing games like this, yet here you are. You know, like I said, yes, the sprites are smaller than the arcade, yes, the backgrounds are simpler, yes, the animation isn't as good, but it is recognisably Mortal Kombat 2. And you have the blood. Woo! Now, I'm not going to profess to be brilliant at this, but yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoyed it at the time, even though I was mostly a Mega Drive gamer at the time. I did have my Master System, and this game, much like its predecessor Mortal Kombat, was rented and played on the Master System as well as the Mega Drive. Now, if you're going to score it as a Master System game, I would give it, say, a good solid 8.5 out of 10. As a video game overall converted from the arcade, it's probably a 6.5 out of 10 realistically. But it is fun, and that's the key. And here we go with the Mega Drive version. Again, published by Acclaim, and yes, converted by those masters of the conversion themselves, Probe Software. We have Mortal Kombat 2 for the Mega Drive. Now, the presentation here is somewhat closer to the arcade machine, but still missing the pretty epic intro that you got on that. However, it is most definitely Mortal Kombat 2. Now, again, obviously compared to the arcade machine, there is a downgrade here in the visuals. That kind of goes without saying. There wasn't a single piece of home hardware really at the time that could produce the same visuals as the arcade machine could. But hey, at least we're getting to play it at home. Now, as you can see, more character selection choices here. You've got 12 characters to choose from, so that's a big plus over the Master System version. Again, you get the mountain that you have to climb. A little bit more detail here in the graphics just on this screen. And then you're into the fights, and yeah, it's a massive upgrade over the 8-bit version. Lots more blood, lots more detail to the characters and backgrounds, lots more animation. It's Mortal Kombat 2. Now, I personally prefer this version over the Super Nintendo version, mostly because I prefer the layout of the Mega Drive joypad, and I feel that even though it doesn't look quite as good, it plays a little bit better for me. As you can see, I am shockingly bad at this game. But when you look at it as a conversion of an arcade machine, it's still pretty good. You know, the Mega Drive was capable. Even at this point, the Mega Drive itself was already sort of 6 years old, and it wasn't, you know, super powerful, yet it still put up a decent conversion here. Now, I've got to be completely honest, comparing the two, it's pretty obvious in terms of the visuals and how the game plays and the smoothness. The Mega Drive version wins out. It's not even a contest. However, in terms of how impressive a port the games are, I have to give the nod to the Master System version. They took the monstrous, huge sprites of the arcade version and the graphics with sound and the gameplay, and they managed to squeeze a fairly playable and quite recognisable version of the game into a system which really had no right at all in having that game on it. So, in terms of which wins in this battle of the bits, I'm going to call this one a draw. The Mega Drive wins in terms of accuracy, but the Master System takes a win in terms of sheer porting genius. So, with that said, I'm Rob. This has been Battle of the Bits. If you've enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. If you haven't liked it, hit dislike. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm Rob, and I'll see you next time.